The English Civil War, 1642-1651, was a tumultuous period that saw the nation torn apart by internal conflict. It was a battle for the soul of England, pitting royalists who supported King Charles the Moor against parliamentarians who sought greater political and religious freedoms. The war fundamentally changed the balance of power in England, leading to the temporary overthrow of the monarchy and setting the stage for the modern British state. The root of the conflict lay in differing views on governance. Charles VII, like his father James VII, believed in the divine right of kings, asserting that his authority was granted by God and thus above challenge. In contrast, Parliament sought to limit the king's power, advocating for a system where the monarchy and Parliament shared governance. Religious tensions also fueled the conflict. Charles's attempts to impose Anglican practices on the largely Puritan population, along with his marriage to the Catholic Henrietta Maria of France, raised fears of a return to Catholicism. These fears were exacerbated by Charles's support for Archbishop William Laud's reforms, which many saw as an attempt to bring the Church of England closer to Catholicism. Charles's financial policies further strained relations. His attempts to raise revenue without parliamentary consent, through means such as forced loans and ship money, a tax traditionally levied in coastal areas but extended inland, were deeply unpopular. His 11 years of personal rule, 1629-1640, during which he governed without calling Parliament, left many feeling marginalised and disenfranchised. In 1640, facing rebellion in Scotland and desperate for funds, Charles was forced to recall Parliament. The short Parliament, April-May 1640, was swiftly dissolved after refusing to grant funds without addressing grievances. Later that year, the Long Parliament convened and would sit until 1660. It quickly took steps to curb the king's power, including the execution of Charles's chief minister, Thomas Wentworth, Earl of Strafford, and Archbishop Laud. In 1641, Parliament issued the Grand Remonstrance, a document listing grievances against Charles's rule and demanding significant reforms. Charles's response was to attempt to arrest 5 leading members of Parliament in January 1642, an action that backfired and galvanized opposition against him. By August 1642, tensions had escalated to the point of no return, and Charles raised his royal standard in Nottingham, effectively declaring war on Parliament. The early stages of the war saw battles with mixed outcomes. The Battle of Edgehill in October 1642 was indecisive, while subsequent battles such as Marston Moor, 1644, and Naseby, 1645, were decisive victories for the parliamentarians. The formation of the new model army, a disciplined and effective fighting force, led by Sir Thomas Fairfax and Oliver Cromwell, played a crucial role in these successes. The new model army's victory at Naseby marked a turning point in the war. The royalist forces were comprehensively defeated, and Charles's secret correspondence, captured after the battle, revealed his negotiations for foreign assistance, undermining his support. By 1646, the king was forced to surrender to the Scots, who later handed him over to the English Parliament. Despite his defeat, Charles continued to maneuver, refusing to accept Parliament's terms for a negotiated settlement. His secret dealings with various factions, including the Scots and Irish, led to renewed fighting in the Second English Civil War, 1648. The parliamentarians, now firmly under the control of the new model army and radical elements led by Cromwell, suppressed the royalist uprisings. Charles was captured again and brought to trial for high treason in January 1649. The trial was unprecedented, as it challenged the notion of the divine right of kings, by holding the monarch accountable to his people. Charles was found guilty and executed on January 30th, 1649, outside the banqueting house in Whitehall. His execution sent shockwaves through Europe, marking the first time a reigning monarch had been tried and executed by his own subjects. Following Charles's execution, England was declared a republic, known as the Commonwealth, and later the Protectorate under Oliver Cromwell. This period saw significant political experimentation, with Cromwell ruling as Lord Protector. His rule was marked by military campaigns in Ireland and Scotland, and efforts to enforce Puritan moral codes. Despite initial successes, the Commonwealth faced numerous challenges, including economic difficulties, political infighting, and widespread public discontent. Cromwell's death in 1658 led to a power vacuum and a lack of effective leadership. His son, Richard Cromwell, proved unable to maintain control, leading to the eventual collapse of the Republican experiment. In 1660, General George Monk, a key military leader, facilitated the restoration of the monarchy. Charles II, son of Charles I, was invited to return to England and reclaim the throne. The restoration marked the end of the interregnum and the beginning of a new era, characterized by a renewed, albeit more limited, monarchy. The English Civil War left a lasting legacy. It fundamentally altered the relationship between the monarchy and Parliament, paving the way for the constitutional monarchy that exists today. The war also had profound social and cultural impacts, influencing literature, art, and political thought. The execution of Charles I and the brief experiment with republicanism demonstrated the power of parliamentary authority and the potential for radical political change. The English Civil War was a defining moment in British history, a conflict that reshaped the nation's political landscape and challenged deeply held beliefs about authority and governance. It was a war driven by a complex interplay of political, religious, and personal factors, and its outcomes reverberated through the centuries. The story of the English Civil War is one of courage, conviction, and change. It is a reminder of the resilience of democratic ideals and the enduring struggle for a balance of power between rulers and the ruled. The lessons learned during this turbulent period continue to inform the principles of modern governance and the ongoing quest for justice and liberty.